Um, there was a lot of religious energy, religious language, a religious presence at the Democratic Convention. I'm not sure how much press it got. I kind of had to look for coverage of it. But I'd like to just briefly hear about that and about what you think that signifies.
Well, I said at these panels that I moderated that religion has been used and abused by politics and conventions for a long time, and that we dare not make that mistake again. And so there were, even in the religious sessions, there were, particularly when you had elected officials show up, partisan flourishes that I thought were inappropriate. But when I was moderating, I always tried to bring it back to the fact that our religion has to be prophetic more than partisan. And the best press coverage of the week was this AP article. It was in 100 papers that said people of faith challenge Democrats. And that's the way it ought to be. People of faith challenge Republicans. That's the way it ought to be. We should be holding both sides accountable. Bishop Blake, Charles Blake, Kojic Bishop, was the keynote. Church of God in Christ, I'm sorry. He's from West Los Angeles. One of the keynote speakers at the interfaith service, and Bishop Blake, who's a friend of mine, called himself a pro-life Democrat. And he had a strong critique of the Democrats' abortion policy, but then said why he was still voting Democrat, because the range of life issues is broader than just, for him, abortion. He talked about too many people on the right that he has dealt with had the view, as he put it, that life begins at conception and ends at birth. And so he wanted to make sure that young children in his neighborhood were being taken care of. And I want to say the big story on religion at the Democratic Convention was what happened on the platform committee. I was not on the committee. Tony Campola was. That's actually something I probably wouldn't do.
The abortion platform specifically.
Well, two things. Mm-hmm. One is they reached out to us, and when I get a call like that from a guy running a platform, my first response is they want to make people feel like they're involved and have some input. That's the first call. But when they start calling every day with, here's the language, what do you think? You know they want to know what moderate religious people think. And so my first input was on the poverty question, and you'll see the strongest language on poverty, a Democratic platform ever. And all of the goals of Sojourners, Catholic Charities are all there. Cut poverty in half in 10 years and implement the Millennium Development Goals. Very strong. That was easy. Abortion was tougher. And there was a pitched battle, really. There was a real conversation, became a conversation, a dialogue between progressive, moderate religious people and strong pro-choice advocates in the party. And the platform turned out to be a different kind of platform than before. It didn't go as far as I would have liked, but it said two important things. One, it did support Roe v. Wade as the Democratic traditional stance. It also supported the other choice, women deciding to have their child with the supportive economic income, health care, and adoption services necessary to make that choice possible. And it had the spirit of abortion reduction. I think abortion reduction could be the common ground between people who are divided on the legalities. I call myself pro-life as well. But I want to see a change. I want to see a dramatic reduction in the abortion rate in this country. And that, for the first time, was part of the Democratic conversation from the interfaith service on. So there's room in the party now. I'm not in the party, but there is room there at the party for people who are pro-life and pro-choice. And that's a big, big change from the past, and that was particularly because of the input of religious leaders that in some sense moderated the stance of some of the pro-choice advocates. And the last thing I'll say is I agree with Rich about the broader agenda. It's a broader agenda on the sanctity of life. 30,000 children dying again today of poverty and disease is a life issue too. Even climate change, more and more, is a life issue too. Richard Cizik says that of the NAE, National Association of Evangelicals. Iraq, for me, is a life issue. So I am with the Catholic bishop's notion of a consistent ethic of life. All the places where life is threatened are of concern to me as a Christian. So I think that broader, deep discussion, I don't think Christians anymore are going to be one-issue voters. I think they're going to look at a wide range of issues and apply their faith as best they can to the, I would call the selective moralities of the left and the right.